Vera City, welcome back to the channel. It's a girl Vera. Today I'm going to be reacting to Sloan. This is my first time ever reacting to him, and this is Wendy Williams is not okay. Oh my goodness. Diagnosed with dementia and isolated from family. Oh my god. Wow. What exactly is going on? Guys, can't wait to get into this video, but before we get started, we have some amazing people watching us for the first time. If you are new here, hello, I'm Vera. I do reaction videos. We've actually different artists on here, react to different songs from all over the world. This is something that you love, why not join Vera City? Hit the subscribe button below, turn on the post notification bell so I can always be the first person to know whenever a new video drops. And that, guys, let's go.
Wendy is in a treatment facility, though they don't know where.
What people are going to see is a broken woman.
Well, my real name is Wendy Hunter.
Hunter.
Yep. And
Wow.
enforced.
Yes. Family was shut out.
Why?
We've got an update on Wendy Williams, and it's not looking good. She has signs of dementia and aphasia, which means she's losing her ability to speak, and these issues are affecting her brain, like a change in personality or forgetting how to write. Wendy's addiction to alcohol hasn't helped her condition either, and now she's locked in an isolated facility, and her family has no idea where she is. So let's get into it.
Why was she isolated from her family?
If you aren't subscribed to the Let's Get Into It podcast, then you're only getting half the tea. For longer videos, deep dives, and of course, more of me, subscribe to the Let's Get Into It podcast listed in the description below. I know a lot of us were hoping that this information is not true, but Wendy Williams is not doing well. Our poor Wendy has been diagnosed with dementia and aphasia, which I looked into aphasia, and that's essentially your ability to communicate. So like kind of loss of speech, or just, you know, that basic function to tell someone something, which you guys know is far from the Wendy we know and love, because she's used to looking into a camera, telling us all the tea, and entertaining us. So her ability to communicate, you know, going away, I mean, that's essentially who she is as a person. Supposedly, Wendy was diagnosed last year after undergoing several medical tests. Her team said the conditions have presented significant hurdles in Wendy's life. So we're dealing with aphasia, which affects language and communication abilities. And then we've got frontotemporal dementia, which is a progressive frontal lobe disorder that impacts behavior and cognitive functions. Now, this would make sense on why these conditions have caused significant hurdles in her life. I mean, she already has lymphedema of her legs, she's got Graves' disease, so now she's got dementia and aphasia. It's like, Wendy, poor Wendy. I mean, I wish she was doing better than this. Wendy's team shared the news publicly in an effort to bring awareness to the conditions. Quote, the decision to share this news was difficult and made after careful consideration, not only to advocate for the understanding and compassion for Wendy, but to raise awareness about aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. Quote, Wendy is still able to do many things for herself. Most importantly, she maintains her trademark sense of humor and is receiving the care she requires. Now, we see some signs of this aphasia actually in her new documentary, because Blac Chyna pays Wendy a visit, and Wendy is not wearing her wig. She's not, you know, really communicating clearly, and it's a hard clip to watch.
You can call my phone whenever. I'm so serious. And I think I'm gonna be back and forth from New York, so I'm gonna be coming to see you more.
Is Wendy Hunter.
Hunter.
Yep. And enforced.
Yes.
He's got no money.
Yeah.
She's forced to make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you.
So do I.
I'm so sad.
Thank you.
You guys can see Blac Chyna is getting emotional in this clip because she's realizing what is going on with Wendy. This typically really witty person who she's used to speaking to is, she's going on talking about her name being Wendy Hunter and how she's divorced and how her ex-husband doesn't have any money. And it just doesn't really, line up with what Blac Chyna was discussing with her. The doctors say when it comes to aphasia, it affects your nervous system. So those start to fall apart and then you have trouble expressing your thoughts and you can lose your ability to speak and write. Now, frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, is usually associated with behavioral and personality changes and difficulty with language, which wouldn't really work with Wendy Williams because both of those conditions affect your ability to speak, and that's her whole job.
This breaks my heart because in the trailer for this Lifetime documentary, it talks about how people around her were really taking advantage of her the last few years, kind of like draining her bank account and not having her best interest in mind. And that is when her family decided to really step in and try to kind of reverse this damage that people did to her. And hearing how she has a disorder that affects cognition and understanding what people are saying and speech and everything, that makes it even more sad. But the symptoms are behavior and dramatic personality changes, which has been seen in Wendy the past few years, and that was kind of alluded to in the documentary. Inappropriate behavior, impaired judgment, lack of empathy, apathy, decreased self-awareness, emotional withdrawal, lack of energy, and so many other things. And the fact that people around her were really taking advantage of her during this super vulnerable time is extremely scary and sad to hear.
Now, aphasia and FTD, they don't just happen one day. Wendy didn't just wake up and she just started to change personality and to have some of these symptoms. It is a slow progression. And I think when we started to see Wendy, take time off from the show and then do these spontaneous interviews, some of her behavior in these interviews show signs that she was struggling with these conditions.
Also, I know Oz, many people. Dr. Oz, by the way, you know Dr. Oz?
Of course, yeah.
All right, my friend, I've been in New Jersey so many times I can't count. Also, I know plenty of people. So I'm ready to, fortunately, I have enough money. I could do nothing at all and just relax in my gorgeous apartment. By the way, doesn't it look gorgeous?
Now, that was back when Wendy did have her apartment, which is no longer hers. She has now given it up, she has moved out, and she hasn't been there in a while. Now, while Wendy may have trouble communicating because of the aphasia, it does not affect her intelligence. So, as someone who has been, at risk of losing her rights to a conservatorship or a guardianship in New York, it doesn't change her intelligence. What it changes is the ability to access ideas and thoughts through language, not the ideas and thoughts themselves. So while Wendy might not be able to say what she is thinking, she's still having that thought process. So it's not a brain issue, it's like a brain signal to, nervous system to, then voice activation issue. One of the reasons why we're getting so many updates about Wendy Williams is because her documentary is coming out, which was initially supposed to be about her comeback, her coming back to media, but it just became about her downfall and her struggling with these diseases and these producers being around her and not knowing what's going on. So there is a question whether these people are profiting off of Wendy's poor condition.
So when they first started filming the documentary, it was originally supposed to be her comeback after her TV show was canceled, but it quickly became something else. They saw when they started filming it and recording it that she was messed up, and
you could see something was wrong.
Yeah, apparently she wasn't right, wasn't doing too good. And the executive producer, Mark Ford, said she was already battling so much physically, and then it became clear that there were mental and addiction issues she was also battling. But all through it, she was adamant. And they went back and forth to see if it was going to help or hurt her. And in the end, they all decided that it would help her.
Now, there's no denying that Wendy has been controlled by a team, and her family has had some struggles trying to get access to her. Like her beloved niece, who she speak of often on her show, talks about the wall of communication between them, causing months of radio silence. Now, her name is Alex, and she claims that Wendy can't be directly contacted by her own family. Alex shares that all all of a sudden, there was just this wall that went down and the family was blocked out. It was back in April 2022, and her family had no idea where she was and what she was up to, how she's doing, and they relied on the news like the rest of us.
The family, feeling exasperated, tells us that Wendy is in a treatment facility, though they don't know where. They say they have heard from her and she sounds much better. This documentary is hard to watch.
I know.
Very hard to watch.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I said I wasn't going to cry because I feel like I've cried enough over the last year and a half. But what people are going to see is a broken woman who has had the world on her shoulders for so long and just cracked.
Alex Finney, Wendy's niece and goddaughter.
I'm still hung up on the fact that she shared that they don't know where she's at, but they've heard from her. I mean, if you heard from her, can she tell you where she's at? Like, maybe they're trying to keep that private, but, you know, I think it's different to say that, yeah, we're withholding this information, opposed to saying that we don't even have that information. We don't know where the hell she is.
Now breaking the family silence.
I feel like I've been living in this secret bubble for a very long time.
Alex says that Wendy is required to call her family members from a blocked phone number, meaning they can't reach out directly to her. Alex shares that, quote, we went through birthdays, holidays, we went through illness. There was a period when my grandfather was in the hospital and no way to contact her and to let her know. So Wendy's own father is in the hospital on his deathbed and he isn't even able to talk to his daughter. She has no idea. Alex said the latest outreach from Wendy came earlier this week, but she was out to dinner and missed the phone call. And because the number was blocked, Alex couldn't call back. She said she's gone months and months without getting a call from Wendy. So it's really scary how her aunt just up and disappeared, especially when they had such a close relationship. Alex shares that one of her calls with Wendy went over 4.5 hours. Quote, I don't remember who got off the phone first, but it was that feeling of like, when I get off the phone with you, I don't know if I'm going to hear from you again. So I'm going to wait for you to say it. I gotta go. Bye. Which is so sad to think about, that she's like on the phone with Wendy, like so close to her aunt, and just like doesn't want to hang up because like who knows when Wendy will get the chance to speak to her again, and who also knows like what kind of rules like Wendy's living under where she can't really call these people. Can she even really say what she wants to say, or is she being monitored? Wendy's sister Wanda was quoted saying, I think the big question is, how the hell did we get here? And I would agree. Exactly. I mean, it seems like Wendy's being treated like a prisoner. Alex, her niece, was quoted saying, we've all seen the images over the last few months and really few years of what has seemed like a spiral for my aunt. It was shocking and heartbreaking to see her in this state, which I think it is a sign of heartbreak. I think Wendy has kind of fallen apart because her marriage fell apart. Her ex-husband like went on and had this mistress and had a baby. He made a ton of money off of managing Wendy and her contracts, and he cashed in on her and then left her, you know, to just be alone. I think that's what drove Wendy back into her, and this is my opinion, back into her addiction and into this state where she was not doing well and her body just started falling apart. But really, it does make me question, how long did she just hold it together with her team pushing her? And is this documentary another example of her just being pushed so hard that now she's in a facility and she can't even contact her family? We don't know where she is because the industry had pushed her to this point. And yeah, maybe Wendy wanted this, but I think she's been trained to want more and more and to perform, and she's a hard worker, and she can't imagine not being able to do this because this is all she knows.
Some people are going to look at this and say, this is exploitation. She's being exploited. How could they do this?
Right. But I will say this, first and foremost, my aunt is the executive producer of this documentary. And she said, now is the perfect time because I want to take ownership of my story. Alcoholic? So in terms of being an alcoholic, I don't want to categorize her because, you know, I'm not a medical professional, but what I can say is that my aunt has had some unhealthy habits when it's come to alcohol.
They discovered a lonely, agitated woman.
Now, this documentary stopped filming Wendy back in April 2023, so it's almost been a year since this crew has been in her life. That month, she entered a facility to treat cognitive issues. Her son reveals in the documentary that doctors have connected these cognitive issues to alcohol use. It does appear that Wendy is in some type of guardian, and there is a court-appointed person who manages her life and her ability to access her family and to talk to people. It actually turns out that Wells Fargo got involved in in Wendy's finances because they were suspecting her son of stealing money from her and other people. So they started to freeze her account, I guess in suspicion that maybe her family could be stealing from her. But it really sounds like none of them get anything anymore and haven't for a long time. Kevin was quoted saying, "I've never taken money without Wendy's consent." It really seems like they tried to push a narrative at some point that Kevin Hunter Jr. was exploiting her when he says that is not the case. Kevin Jr. claims that Wendy was actually doing well when she was in his care. She was working out, eating vegan. He even told producers, no, she's not coming up to New York because she needs to stay in Florida with me and take care of herself. And that's one of the big questions when it comes to Wendy. Like, where was her family this entire time to come in and rescue her?
People will look at this documentary and wonder, where's her family?
Right.
How come family's not there saving her?
Because family was shut out.
We would take responsibility with regard to guardianship and personal needs to ensure that she was healthy. I'm not talking about her money. You put the money over here.
It was talk that Wells Fargo got involved in this because they thought either her son, Kevin Jr., or somebody was taking advantage of her financially.
Yeah.
Do you know that to be true?
So I personally have not seen family taking advantage of my aunt's money. I haven't.
Have you ever taken money from your mother's account?
Not without her consent.
Now, Wendy's sister Wanda is pretty outspoken in this documentary. She says, all I know is that Wendy and her team walked into the courtroom one day, they walked out, and the family is completely excluded. A producer says that Wendy loved doing the show, and losing it just broke her. A show source said that we were the little engine that could. When we got renewed each season, we were shocked. They say fish stinks from the head, but if it's great, fish glows from the head. In this case, we all basked in Wendy's glow. And maybe part of the reason why Wendy was glowing was because, you know, she had some of her drinks while she was behind the scenes and she would be drunk on air. A show source said that slowly we started being like, what's going on with her? When she fainted in 2017, that was the first sign that something was really wrong with her. So that's like, what, 6 years ago? One of her co-producers, Suzanne, who we saw on the show plenty of times, said, I knew she was struggling. How could I not? As her situation grew worse, she pushed us away. In 2019, Wendy revealed that she had been living in a sober house, noting her past problems with cocaine. A month later, she filed for divorce from her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, after 21 years of marriage. Now, with Wendy's divorce, her health issues, her mother passing away, she had so much to deal with and she could not hold on. And it's sad to see that so many people around her recognized that there was a problem, but no one could really step in and save the day for her. She really had to go through this for herself.
During this filming, at what point did you know something was seriously wrong?
Oh, right off the bat. When I saw her, she didn't have to say one thing. I knew that every cylinder is not firing the way it should.
You are bigger than this. You are better than this. You are smarter than this. You are stronger than this. People around you getting paid, they're going to tell you stuff to make you feel good.
So who benefits from this documentary? Is it family? Is it managers around her who are going to benefit from this?
I think that's a question I can't even answer. I know that, I will say this, family benefiting from this, no. I don't, that's, no. I just hope that the person that comes out of this victorious is my aunt.
Even Wendy's own family asked themselves almost every day, is this helping Wendy or is this hurting her? And in the end, we felt like it could have been helping her. So maybe it will be good for her in the long run, you know, taking ownership of this story, not allowing people to dictate what's happening. But even though she is a producer, I question how much power she has in the situation, especially when she's unwell and locked in these really, you know, intense facilities. Like, is she even gonna watch it? Did she watch it before it's come out? Was she able to provide edits? I don't know, but I do question what is next for Wendy after this. Like, is there a plan for her to get out of the facility? Can she talk to her family more? Will we ever see her again?
Do you think that she has a prayer of actually resuming a career?
I think that, well, I know that in talking with her, she does hope to resume a career. And my hope for her is that she does whatever she wants to do that makes her happy and that stays in the bounds of keeping her healthy.
I mean, Hollywood works in magical ways. We saw Justin Bieber with his face half frozen, and now he seems like he's doing pretty well. So, you know, there's amazing doctors out there. Hopefully Wendy's team hooks her up with them, and maybe she will be back, but I hope she really takes the time to heal. Anyways, we are sending love to our queen of gossip, Wendy Williams. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.
Wow, this is so heartbreaking, so heartbreaking. I don't understand, why was her family separated from her? Why wouldn't they allow her family to see her? I said it's as a result of alcohol abuse. It's just crazy and it's so sad. I hope she's taken care of right now. I hope her family can now talk to her now. I hope she's getting better. Dementia is such, this dementia affects old people, and she doesn't look all that old to me. I think the heartbreak she went through broke her, you know, her husband leaving her. Not everyone can take that pain, not everybody can go through that pain. Like, also know of somebody that her husband, not even her husband, they were planning to get married and she was already pregnant for him. At the end of the day, he left her all alone. It took off and she was left alone. She gave birth to the baby. She had a baby boy. She raised him all by herself. Then she lost her job as well. Then she fell into depression. At the end of the day, she went senile. She actually ran mental. She had to be taken to the psychiatric, but now she's better and she has a job now and she's living life. My advice to anyone going through any hard time is that it is not the end of the world, it's not the end of life. You might be going through a heartbreak or whatever. Don't give up, don't lose hope. Depression is real. Depression is real. I've been through it and I know how it felt. And I don't ever pray to go through such again. That is why no matter any situation I find myself, I try as much as possible to be happy for myself, like to be genuinely happy. I have found a way to count my blessings. Even when things are not really going the way I want it, I count my blessings. A lot of people would kill to be where you are today. You might feel like, oh, you don't have the best life, but some people still want to live your life. Some people are praying to God to live your life. Kai Kenneth came to Nigeria and I saw his video. He went to the slum. Children, they were homeless. They were living on water. Like, they even said their school was sinking. Like, when I saw that, I actually cried, because who am I to complain about my life when there are people out there that are homeless? I have a shelter over my head. I still have money to buy air, to buy clothes. Some people do not even have money to buy food. They don't even know what to eat. They are starving, not by choice, but because they don't have anyone to help them. So I've learned to count my blessings, and I think we should too. This is just so sad, and not everybody can, you know, overcome a heartbreak. Not everybody has that, but let us just try as much as possible to be strong for ourselves, because you've got you. It's sad that our family wasn't even allowed to, you know, move closer to her, but I hope now the narrative has changed. What do you guys think about this video? Drop your comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up and please share this video. And if you're new here, join the gang, join Vera City. Hit the subscribe button below, turn on the post notification bell so that you can always be the first person to know whenever a new video drops. Thank you so much for watching. What other kind of video would you love me to react to? Kindly comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye bye.